Hi, I'm Jessica from Jessica Wanders, and this video is a segment of a cruise that Mr. Wanders and I did. We did a Panama Canal cruise from Fort Lauderdale through to Los Angeles, and this is just the Panama Canal Transit. Took us a day. I filmed as much of it as I could. It's a pretty long video. Shows all of the Panama Canal machinery and us transiting through the locks. We went through the old locks on the Island Princess. If you enjoy this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. You can subscribe to see more videos from me. Don't forget to hit that notification bell to be notified when I drop new videos. I hope you enjoy this video. It was a really fun day transiting through the Panama Canal on the Island Princess through the old locks.
It's a pretty warm day in April and we got started very early. It's a hazy morning. We're entering the canal. We're doing an east-west canal transit. So this is the city of Colón in Panama. It just looked very, very hazy. I did feel like we were very in the jungle, probably more in the jungle than I have ever been. This is definitely the southest I've ever been. We are only about 600 miles north of the equator at about 9 degrees north latitude, and it is very hot. We went through in April. It is very hot, very humid, very, very sticky for sure. But beautiful. Everything is green. I don't know if it's green. It must be green all year. It just looks very much like a jungle. We were seeing toucans sometimes in the trees later on. But we're just getting set up and entering the canal at Colón on the east side of the Panama Canal this morning. We're picking up our captain who is going to take us through the Panama Canal Transit. A little pilot boat. Besides the canal locks, there are 3 impressive bridges that we're going to pass under on our Panama Canal Transit. And this is the first bridge, the Atlantic Bridge on the Atlantic side of the Panama Canal that we went under. As we're getting ready to go through the Gatun locks, you can see off to the left here is the Agua Clara locks. Those are new locks. They built them in 2016. But we're going through the old locks on the Island Princess, which was designed with her sister ship, the Coral, to transit the old locks. Princess Cruises was giving kind of a running commentary, which was very informative about the Panama Canal and how it was built, and a ton of information. You could watch it and listen to it on your TV screen in your room. We are watching the entire transit from a balcony room on the port side of the ship. You can see the Agua Clara locks over there. Of course, I have my Merlin Bird ID sound app running so that I can pick up the sounds of all the birds that are around and everything. Yeah, I'm very distracted by the wildlife and stuff. I think that I was more distracted by all the wildlife and the birds than Mr. Wanders was, but we are both avid bird watchers, so that was pretty fun. But we were listening to the history as well, you know, how difficult it was for them to build this Panama Canal and all of the troubles that they had and the difficulties, malaria and people dying and all kinds of stuff. It was quite an accomplishment. But I was also listening to a bunch of birds. I took a walk up top to the top of the ship to see if I could get a better view than in our room. The Island Princess has this blue glass kind of that surrounds the entire upper deck, and there's not really a good place that you can get a view that doesn't have this blue glass. It's kind of unfortunate because the best view that you can get is really, really obstructed by this barrier. There's a couple of great places that you can go to see the transit if you don't have a balcony room. This was definitely a unique view out the front of the ship. Obviously, everybody was trying to get this view. I pretty much just ended up with a lot of blue, hazy pictures of this view of the transit. Our little tugboat's hard at work. Actually, they didn't have to do too much adjusting. Our pilot was very, very good at lining us up for the transit through, so they weren't doing too much pushing us around. But it was fun to watch the tugboats. It did take quite a bit of time for us to get lined up to go through the locks. Like even that first picture from the top of the deck until we started moving was a quite amount of time. But this is us, the first of 3 locks on our Panama Transit, the Gatun locks. They were built in 1914. And the rest of the transit you'll see from my balcony. You can really get a sense of how tight it is. Look how little room there is along the ship in that canal as we move through. This was a great view we could see of another container ship coming through the canal in the opposite direction. We did have a good view. There's the Atlantico Bridge. We did have a good view of it coming through. It was pretty cool, actually, with the gates opening and the water moving. It was fun.
We had such an interesting view. This boat coming down the other direction on the lock. So they're draining the water out of it. You see the ship sinking and they're leveling out the water by dumping it down into this next lock. It was such a great view that we had from our balcony. And then they just open the doors and it can move right through. So cool.
This ship seemed so big to me, but obviously it's small enough to fit through these old locks. So there must be much, much bigger container ships that go through the new locks. They would be so much bigger. It would be monstrous because these ones already look so huge to me. I noticed the water sort of dumping out of the ship, and then I think Mr. Wanders was telling me that they fill the ship up with water so that it displaces more water, so that it takes less water to move them through the canals, which I thought was pretty interesting. I didn't know about that. And then they just move through. They're connected to these little trolley things that are moving along the side with big cables, and they sort of move it through, or at least keep it from moving side to side. The Vegas song. Look how giant it is. It's so long. It was so impressive to see a ship that is that huge moving. And they're so friendly, waving at us. Everybody was being super friendly. It's quite an experience to move through. Everybody looked happy. Everybody was out to sea and wave. Yes. Tons of fun. And then there's another one right behind it, ready to come through. This view, you can really see how close we were, how tight of a fit it was to go through on the Island Princess through these old locks. It is so tight, so close. It's just amazing. It's amazing how they manage it without doing any kind of damage. I sped it up. I sped it way up. We're moving much, much slower than this. Like for sure. This is super speed.
feet to water. How much narrower you think? A foot on either side? 2 feet. With 94% humidity. Oh, there's another ship already. Solar Karen. Hi, Karen. No smoke, no smoking. Can't be a smoker. Work on Solar Karen. Is it a monkey? Is it? Splashing.
Yeah, like fish along the edge.
Oh.
So I got my binoculars and I couldn't catch one. So I can. They're gonna win. Did you see it?
Look, they're waving already. Oh, I see. They're connected.
They're not pulling it.
They're just like,
Steady.
it can't go any further that way or any further this way. Safety first. No smoking, safety first.
They're all out. See the green
I loved seeing the guys hanging out in the hammocks on the ship. That's just brilliant. So fun. Everybody was so friendly. Everybody was waving, having a chill Panama Canal Transit in their hammocks. It's so much, so silly. It's so awesome to see. Solar Karen. Great big ship.
We're moving into the next lock, which means we must have come up. Leaking.
Somebody.
Ah.
Mr. Wanders, being a machinist, was enjoying looking at all of the different trades shops that they had to set up to work on the Panama Canal.
Good morning!
Good morning!
The Gatun locks, built in 1913. The building looked like it was in kind of rough shape, falling apart. There was lots of swallows' nests, and the birds were pretty cool. But yeah, it looked like it was in a little bit of disrepair. That's an old building, though, 1913. Just a little fact, my grandmother was born in Edmonton, Alberta in 1913. So when she was born, they were building these Panama Canal locks. Gatun locks, built in 1913. We're almost through. We're making it through. We're on our way. It's a long process. Like, settle in, get some snacks, get some drinks, get some food. You have time for lunch and come back, and we're still going through the locks. Just so you know, it's not a fast process. I have sped up a lot of it just so that we can see it all, but it is a very slow day.
Look at the gap over here.
You mean no gap?
The no gap. Oh my god. All the swallows in there. Canal de Panama, it says down there.
at the guys all chilling out under there in the shade. I zoomed in on their no smoking safety first sign.
Must be 50 turkey vultures up there.
Canada! 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 Yeah, like that one's gonna go through the new locks. I don't know how they get into there. It must really go on an angle because they're coming together. You see the split down at that end. And then where does it go?
Maybe when we go across.
Maybe. Yeah, it must.
Sa
That bird is coming this way.
Parents?
Maybe. Gatun Lake, yeah, pretty in the jungle. That is a big bird. That is a stinky smell. Wish you could smell your videos.
Right? Smell of it?
Yeah.
Ugh. Baby.
Because that smells like gun.
Varnish.
Is it varnish? Yeah. For exercise. So wet now.
Well, yeah.
We are lucky.
I know, now it's nice and cool, right? It's nice and cooled off.
Like we're digging.
Woo! Also, train. What is this? tugboat.
It's ours here. Look at all the tugboats. Oh, that's Panama City in the background. Way over there. I think we're coming up on the lock. That's good? Good to know. There's an alligator. Yep. Oh, are you coming over here? Not even touching that bumper. Not even at all. That bird barely moved for that car. That bird barely moved for that car.
What is this?
On the stairs, we can be on the purchase area or the panoramic view, but not stop in the stairs. Bueno, guardando las gavetas, cometidos todos esta maravilla de la ingeniería moderna que es el canal de Panamá. A nombre de la autoridad del canal, vamos a dar las más cordiales bienvenidas a nuestros queridos visitantes, esperando que todos tengan una excelente estadía aquí en la entrada pacífica del canal, incluso a Miraflores, y que por supuesto la pasen muy pero muy bien en la República de Panamá. Procesos cruceristas y el equipo de canareros haciendo posible ese tránsito del día de hoy. Una video que que se escuche bien pero muy fuerte. Ahora deben ser de danza y no impress, but in Spanish. Let's see how we across our patient para la employees, para la economía que pasa por this class today. Vamos a ir con impress, ¿ok? A la cuenta de que se escuche bien fuerte. 1, 2, 3. Vamos a solicitar la cooperación de todos nuestros visitantes. No podemos reposarnos las escaleras. Está prohibido mantenernos en las escaleras. Tenemos área para sentarse, área de grada, 2 áreas de observación, donde usted puede quedarse cómodamente. No podemos quedarnos en las escaleras. Usted puede bajar o puede subir.
Where does it go? is it. That's our entire transit through the Panama Canal in 2024, all the way from Cologne to Panama City, from east to west. Took us an entire sort of day. I think we got started in position at about 6 o'clock in the morning in the Caribbean Sea, and we finished around maybe 3 or 4 o'clock into the Pacific Ocean. It was very interesting. We had almost beautiful weather, just that one rainstorm. It was very humid and hot, but we had a great time. Saw some interesting wildlife, and the whole transit through the canal was very, very interesting as well. I would recommend going through the Panama Canal. Mr. Wanders enjoyed looking at all the different machinery and the machine shops because he's a machinist, so that was really interesting for him. I enjoyed the wildlife. I would come back, maybe go to Panama City. Our cruise that we were on didn't stop in Panama. We just transited through Panama. I think I would enjoy coming back here again. They have a lot of interesting wildlife that I would like to see. I would come back here. We were getting a lot of the history of the Panama Canal. That's very interesting. You can find a lot of YouTube videos about the history of the Panama. It was obviously quite an amazing accomplishment, and many, many people lost their lives doing it. It's a very interesting history. If you enjoy the video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. You can subscribe to see more wanderings from me, as well as a bunch of other things that I do. I'll post links to anything that I think that you might be interested in. If you want to see another excursion that we went on this cruise, I'll leave a link to that as well. We did a kind of jungle river safari in Costa Rica. Thanks so much for coming with us on our transit through the Panama Canal on the Island Princess, and I hope to see you when I'm wandering again.